What's up, guys? This is going to be this first video. I'm starting a series where I go through every single ACT section. I'm going to be doing multiple of these, so it should be some good practice, and I'll show how to solve each question. So let's just go right into it. First question, this is distributing. If you don't know how to distribute, you're a little behind, but distribute -7 to both sides, so it's going to be -35a plus 7b. And then the other side will be -3 times 8. So it's going to be -24b and then plus 3a. But you got to simplify this. So like terms would be 7b, -24b, -35a, and 3a. So simplifies to 32a and -24b plus 7b, so that's going to be 17, -17b. If we look at our answer choices, that is choice E. Alright. Now, question number 2. For Bill's party, his parents will pay $35 for the cake, plus $15 per person for catering expenses. They will spend at most a total of $300 for his party. What is the greatest integer in the solution set? One of the following inequalities gives the maximum number of people. Okay, so we know the max they want to pay is $300. So, whoops, my bad. Okay, so $300 is the max. That means nothing can exceed it. So everything else has to be equal to or less than. So $300 equal to or less than. And we know that the cake is $35. So the constant here is 35 plus whatever the variable is. So $15 per person would be 15x or 15p if you want to think about it, people. And that's answer K. Okay, number 2. The number 312. Oh, my bad. Let me wipe this real quick. The number 312.8 is 34% of what? Okay, so the way we set this up is you get the part divided by the whole, and that's equal to whatever percentage. Oh, I don't know why I just drew that backwards, but whatever percentage over 100, because a percent is always a percent of 100. And now the way we go about this is basically just plugging in for what we know. So the part in this equation is 312.8. The whole is exactly what we're looking for, so that's x. And the percent is 34% over 100. Now we could cross multiply. 34x equals 312.8 times 100, which is 31,280. Then we divide by 34. X is going to be 920. That's answer D. For RT shown below, point S is on RT, the length of RS is 8, and the length of ST is 18. What is the distance between T and the midpoint of RS? Alright, so if RS is 8, the midpoint of RS is going to be 4, because 8 divided by 2 is 4. And we know that from S to T, it's 18. So all we're doing here is just midpoint of R and S is 4 plus the length of ST, 18, 22. That's the answer. So that's answer J. Alright. A certain committee is composed of 9 juniors and 11 seniors. 2 different members of the committee will be randomly selected for 2 different leadership roles. Given that the first member who will be selected is a senior, what is the probability that the second member is a junior? All right. So since we know the first one is a senior, that means there's one less senior. So now we have 9 juniors, 10 seniors. Now the way we find probability is we just do the odds of something happening over like the amount of people. So say for this example, the amount of juniors here is 9. The amount of total people is 19 now. It used to be 20, but since we eliminated one senior because we know the first one was a senior, it's 9 over 19. So answer here is A. Okay, what is the least common multiple of 60, 70, and 90? So for this question, I would honestly just plug it into my calculator. Alright, so we'll go with we know F is wrong because 60 is the only one that multiplies to 60. And now we could do 220 divided by 70. That does not make a real number, a whole number, so that's wrong too. We'll try 630 divided by 60, 10.5. That's not a whole number, so that's wrong too. Now let's try J. 1,260 divided by 60, 21. Okay, that's a whole number. Let's try 70. 1,260 divided by 70. It's also a whole number. 1,260 divided by 90. Also a whole number. So we know that I is the answer. But for this question, you would just divide each answer divided by these. And if they make a whole number, then it's a multiple. The Newton High School girls softball team currently has a record of 8 wins, 5 losses, and 0 ties. What is the least number of its remaining 10 games the team must win to finish the season, winning more than 50% of all the team's games? All right. So let's write down what we know. There's 8 wins, 5 losses, and 10 games left. And they want to win more than 50%. So if we think about it like this, let's say 3 out of these 10 games they lose, then it'd be 8 wins, 8 losses, and 7 games left, right? And they're asking us how many games do they have to win. So if there's 7 games left, to win more than they lose, it would be more than 3.5, or we could just say 4. The way I would think about it is, so if this is 50-50 and we want to keep it more than 50% wins, if there's an odd number left, like 7, they just need to win more than they lose. So 4. For what value of x is 2 times x minus 12 plus x equal to 24 true? For this, I would just solve it. So let's do 2x minus 24 plus x equals 24. Let's add like terms and bring this to the other side. It would be 2x plus x is 3x. Adding 24 to 24 equals 48. X divided by 48 divided by 3 is 16. So the answer here is just J. This is just algebra. Principal of Low High School, LHS, authorized a study to estimate the percent of the LHS student population that will attend a 4-year college after graduation. The LHS students in honors courses were asked about their postgraduate plans, and their responses were recorded. Students in other courses were not included in the study. So this is asking how would you describe this study? Well, let's see. Randomized census, it's not randomized or a census. Randomized would be if they pick people at random, and this is not at random because he specifically picked people from LHS in honors. It actually says students in other courses weren't included, so he's specifically picking people in honors. So we could take A, B, and D out instantly. C and D and E are what we're left with. So it can't be an experiment because we're not observing anything. So I would just go with E here. E is the answer. This is just a survey. He's trying to find plans. He's trying to see what they have planned. He's not really observing. He's not trying to find an answer to anything. It's just a survey. So E would be the answer. Okay. Triangle ABC is the image of ABC under which transformation? Okay. So for this question, we could see that this is literally a reflection. This is a reflection over the y-axis, because B, if we flipped it on the y-axis right here, it would be over here. So this is just a reflection over the y-axis, so K is the answer. Banu will build a fence around a rectangular 30-foot by 25-foot play area. Given that fencing costs $4.05 per foot, how much will the fencing cost? Okay, so all we have to do to solve this is, it's just an area question, and it's a perimeter question actually. So 30 is the length, 25 is the height. We just add this again because it's perimeter. And then we multiply all this by how much it is per foot, which is 4.05, and we get $445.5. So the answer is A. The diagonal of a rectangular flat television screen is 26 inches. The width is 22.7 and the height is 10. 10 inches less than the width. Okay, so first I'm just going to start by drawing this out. It's a rectangular flat television screen, and we know the diagonal, sorry for my bad drawing, is 26. The width is 22.7, and the height is 10 less than the width. So we could just do this in our head. It would be 12.7. What is the following closest to the area? Okay, so all we're doing here is 22.7 times 12.7. Area is just length times width. And when you do that in your calculator, you would get 288.29. Answer is H. For all a does not equal 0, a to the 8 divided by a to the 4th equals what? Okay, for this question you need to know your exponent rules. When you would divide exponents, the way it works is as if you're doing this. A to the 4 minus 2. That's all it is. So for this question, a to the 8th divided by a to the 4th is the same thing as 8 minus 4, and we get a to the 4th. Answer C. Try not to lose time on these type of questions. They're really simple. An ellipse with a major axis of 6 inches and a minor axis of length 4 inches is inscribed in a rectangle. The region inside the rectangle but outside the ellipse is shaded. What is the area of the shaded region? Okay, so first let's find the area of the whole rectangle. 4 times 6 is 24. So that's the area of the rectangle. And now it's given us the formula for an ellipse. The formula of the ellipse is A equals pi AB. A equals 1/2 the length of the major axis. The major axis they give us, I'll write it here, MA, equals 6. Minor axis, I'll write, they're both MA. I will write min A equals 4. So A and B in this equation is 1/2 the length of both. Okay, so now if we plug in, it will be pi times 1/2 of 6 is 3. 1/2 of 4, 2. So the area for the ellipse is 6 pi. And since we're looking for the area of the shaded, that's the outside of the ellipse, if we have the area of the rectangle, which is 24, if we subtract that from the area of the ellipse, we'll get whatever's shaded. So it's just 24 minus 6 pi, which is h. Given 2x minus square root of 3 equals 6, what is the value of x? All right. All you have to do in this question is simplify. That's really it. Okay. So we have 2x minus radical 3, 6. Okay. 2x equals 6 plus radical 3. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 3 plus radical 3 over 2. And we get C. What is the largest possible product for two even integers whose sum is 18? All right. Two even integers that equal. All right. Let's write down what integers that are even can equal 18. So even integers, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, etc. Now, what equals 18? 8 and 10 equals 18. So, what else? 6 and 12 could equal 18. But 2, 16 could equal 18. What is the largest possible product? Okay, now let's multiply the values we think about. 2 times 16 would be 32. Alright, now let's keep going. 6 times 12 is 72. So that's bigger than 32. 8 times 10 is 80. It's bigger than 72. So that means the biggest value that it could be that equals, if you add these integers and it equals 18, could be 80. So the answer here is just J. Juanita walked from her home to the bakery, first walking 0.3 miles due east and then 0.4 miles north. What is the straight line distance in miles from the bakery to her home? So this is just a right angle type of problem. 0.3 miles due east, so in this direction, 0.3 miles, and then 0.4 north, 0.4 north. We're looking for the diagonal, so the hypotenuse. So here we do Pythag. 0.3 squared plus 0.4 squared equals c squared, where c is the diagonal. So if we plug this in our calculator, we would get 0.5. So C equals 0.5. Answer is D. Alright, this is a matrix question. Now, it's asking what is the first matrix subtracted by the second matrix. So for these type of questions, if you don't remember how to do a matrix, you can honestly just plug in your calculator. It's really easy, but it's so unnecessary because matrix addition and subtraction is so incredibly easy to remember. So we have the first matrix, 10, we have 8, we have 13, 11, and the second matrix. I'll use different colors to show how you do this, but it is very easy. Let's say we want to add or subtract. First we do top left from the first one, top left from the second one. And this works for every single row. Whatever corresponds here, corresponds there. Whatever's here, there. And we're subtracting. So if we want to yield a new matrix, 10 minus 19 minus negative 9, 19. Negative 13 minus negative 17, 4. Negative 8 minus negative 8 is, sorry, I'm blanking, 0. 11 minus 14, negative 3. So that's all it is. Whatever corresponds here, you subtract here. And that's it. Answer is K. These type of questions, they try to scare you, but it's really not that bad. The line with equation 2x plus 5y equals 9 is graphed in the standard xy coordinate plane. What is the slope of the line? Okay. All we're doing here is just changing the equation so that we can get y equals mx plus b. Subtract 2x from both sides, we get 5y equals negative 2x plus 9. Divide both sides by 5y by 5. So y equals negative 2 over 5x plus 9 over 5. And it's just asking for the slope. Negative 2/5. Answer is B. Yolanda is calculating the weekly payroll for her small business. One employee earns $7.20 per hour and has worked 4 days this week. 9 hours and 1/4 the first day, 8 hours the second day, 6 3/4 hours the third day, 7.5 hours the fourth day. Which of the following is the employee's pay for this week before any deductions? Okay, so all we have to do here is just add up the hours, multiply it by the rate he's getting paid. So the hours we have here are 9.25 hours because it's a fraction. 1/4 is 0.25 plus 8 hours on the second day plus 6.75 hours on the third day plus 7.5 hours on the last day. And then we multiply all these hours he worked by $7.20. So multiply. And the answer we get here is $226.80. Answer is F. Okay. What is the xy solution if one exists to the system of equations y equals 2x plus 6 and 6x plus 12 equals 3y? So the second equation is not in the right form. Let's write down the first equation, and then let's solve for the second one. So subtract 6x both sides, get, oh actually my bad, it's already like that. All we have to do is divide by 3. So y equals 2x plus 4. And now you notice here, the slope on both of these equations are exactly the same. So you have to know that when something has the same slope but different y-intercepts, they're parallel lines, they're never going to meet. So there's no solution. It's E. Sets A, B, and C are identified or defined below. A number will be randomly selected from A. What is the probability that the selected number will be an element of C and an element of B? Okay. So for this question, it has to be an element of B and C. So we know that there's 9 numbers total that's possible to happen. So that's the denominator of A, because 1 through 9. And the only numbers that we need it to be are 4 or 8, because B and C both have 4 and 8. So there's 2 possibilities that could happen. So 2 out of 9 chance. Okay, we can't do this because I don't have the picture. Can't do the last question because the picture's not coming up. So sorry about that. Histogram below shows the results of a survey of 100 people. Each person identified the number of hours per week they watch TV. How many people surveyed watched TV at least 4 hours per week? Okay, at least 4 hours per week. So starts here, number of hours here. We have to add up everything here because it's saying at least 4. So 21 plus 17 plus 19, 57. That's the answer. Each side of a square is 4 centimeters long. One vertex of the square is 6'2" on a square coordinate grid marked in centimeter units. What could be another coordinate? Okay. So if the side is 4 centimeters long and a vertex, which is the corner of a square, is at 6'2". Let's just think about it like this. Let's say if it goes to the right, that would be 10'2". If it goes to the left, that'd be 2'2". If it goes up 4, that'd be 6'6". If it goes down, it would be 6, -2. So these are the only possible outcomes that there could be, and the only one that matches our answer is A. An outlier is added to the data set below. Which of the following pairs of statistics has no change in the outlier? Okay, so an outlier in questions like this means something that is nowhere close to the set. It's not pretty equal to the set. So first let's observe what would happen to the median. So we have 60, 63, 66, 70, 72, 72, 73, 73, 73, 75. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the middle number would be 6 if an outlier is added. So it would be, let's say if it was on the left side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we already know the median's not going to change. So we could take out answer H and G. Now let's see what would happen to the mode. If an outlier comes, it's only going to happen once. So the mode is still going to stay the same because the mode is the number that shows up the most. The mode in this question is 73 because you have it here, you have it here, you have it here 3 times. The mode's not going to change. But let's see what happens to the range. The range is going to change because the range is the highest number minus the lowest number. Let's say the outlier was 1. The lowest number is going to be 1 instead of 60. So the range is going to be a lot different. Instead of being 15, it would be 74. Let's say the outlier was 100. It would be 100 minus 60, not 75 minus 60. So the mode is definitely going to change. So answer is J. Oh, not the mode. The range is definitely going to change. So the answer is J here. Given that angle R is the included angle between two congruent sides of the isosceles triangle RST, and the measure of R is 50, was the measure of S. Okay, let's draw the triangle out. We know it's congruent. We know angle R is in between the congruent sides. So say this is congruent to this. Angle R would be here. And we're giving the measure is 50. So this is the one angle that won't be the same because this angle corresponds to this side. This angle corresponds to this side. And since they have to be equal, it would be 180 minus 50, which is 130. And these two angles are the same. So just divide it by 2, you get 65. That's the answer. The standard XY coordinate plane, what is the distance in coordinate units from 5 1/3, -3, to -1 and 5/9, -3? Okay. So this looks scary, but this is very easy. If we notice here, -3 is the same on both. So that means they're the same height. The y value is the same. So they're only horizontally different. So all we have to do here is compare the horizontal distances. If we do -1 and 5/9 minus 5 1/3, let's change this to a fraction, we would get negative 9 plus 5, 14 ninths minus 5 times 3 is 15, 16 thirds, and then we just change the denominator, 14 ninths minus 16 times 3 is 48 thirds. Answer here, it's going to be negative, but we want distance. Distance is always going to be positive. So the answer here is going to be 62, I believe. 62 ninths. But we could simplify this. Oh wait, I wrote this denominator wrong. So it would be 62 over 9. And this simplifies to, let me put in my calculator. Six and 8/9. So our answer here is J. Hiker's World Foods sells raisin nut mix in bulk to stores. The dollar amount per pound P of X for a store to purchase X pounds of raisin nut mix from Hiker's World is given by the function below. So the nearest cent, which of the following dollar values is equal to the total price for a store to purchase 100 pounds of raisin nut mix in a single order? Okay, so if X represents the dollar, okay, X pounds, so X represents the pounds, and they just gave us the pounds, which is 100. 100 equals x in this scenario. All we do is plug in to the equation they give us. So p of x equals 3. Well, it wouldn't be p of x actually. It would be p of 100 equals 3.5 plus 0.9 to the 100, because that's our x value. We just plug it into our calculator. And when we do plug it in, we get $350. So a very easy question. In the right triangle ABC shown below, sine of C is 5/7, and the length of AB is 14 inches. What is the length of AC? Okay, so let's draw this triangle. Now it's saying sine of C is here. Sine of C is the ratio of 5/7. So sine is opposite's here. Hypotenuse is always opposite to the right triangle, so the hypotenuse is here. 5/7 is the ratio, and we know that this is actually 14. So let's think about it like this. 5/7 is the ratio opposite to h, and that also equals 14 divided by x opposite to h. That's the same ratio. So if we cross multiply, we would get that 98 equals 5x. If we solve for x, 19.6 equals x, and our answer here is 19.6, J. Alright, we're at the halfway point. I'm thinking about doing another video on this, finishing it up, because it's going to get harder. That's how the ACT works. The math questions usually get harder. But let me know if you guys want more of these. I could do maybe a science section, English, reading. Definitely want to do a lot of math, because I know that's what a lot of people take the ACT for. But hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll be sure to post part 2 as soon as I can.